What's up, y'all? It's your girl Ashley, and I am here with the Hood Hippy podcast, episode one. And in episode one, we're just going to talk about why I'm doing this podcast and some of the things that's been going on in my life. I appreciate you for listening, so stay tuned for this wonderful ride that I am going to take you on today. First, shameless plug. Please visit www.thehoodhippy, spelled HIPPY.com, for all your crystal and spiritual tool needs. I will greatly appreciate it. And so today, I just want to talk to you guys about a lot of the transitions that I've been going through in life. I have been going through transitions in life for several years now. I would say the pandemic was definitely a serious turning point for me. I was in a funk, more than a funk, and whatever it was, I had no idea what it was. I just felt down and out, but for some reason, I knew that I had to sit in it. Like whatever was going on, I knew that it was something that I could not like weasel my way out of. It was something that I just had to deal with. I had to be in until the time had ended. So during the pandemic, I I think it was the fact that I really had time to sit and think and deal with myself. And I realized that I have been like living my life on autopilot. I have been doing like all of the things that I was told I should do and the things that I thought that I was supposed to do, right? But not necessarily the things that were making me happy. And it was a very hard realization for me to think about that because here I am, with an amazing family, a good support system, an amazing significant other. Like my children are amazing, and then I'm in this funk. And it really makes you feel ungrateful. But you shouldn't feel ungrateful because life is about changing and growing, and you should always examine yourself. Like, I try to examine my day at the end of it and say, okay, did anything happen that wasn't the best for me? Can that be removed from my life? Or should I just learn to deal with this situation in a different manner? But one of the things that I started doing was breath work. A friend of mine introduced me to breath work because she developed a full meditation system. And so I'm certified in the first two, and I'm going to start working on my last one actually this Saturday. And after a breathwork session, I would do an hour every Wednesday night. I literally, when I got done, I heard the word worthy in my head. And the voice was different from my everyday inner monologue. And I was like, that was my higher self. The voice was different and it freaked me out. And I walked into the kitchen where my husband was. He was cooking. He loves to cook. And I was like, dude, like I just realized that I don't feel worthy. Like I don't feel worthy of anything. And I started to give him examples. For example, my friend whose meditation system I did some proofreading for her at her request, and I could not understand why she would want me to read something so magnificent, right? I couldn't see my own intelligence. And then there would be things like they would ask me to do stuff at work, and I would be like, why do they want me to do that? Like, why do people always ask me to do stuff? Why do they ask me to take on these leadership positions? And that's actually always been a thing, even in college. Like a good friend of mine, may she rest in peace, Kim Pearson. She like wanted me to take over a student organization that she had been president of for a long time, and I definitely fumbled the bag. Like I agreed, and I do that often. Like I agreed to make her happy, but I was not prepared. And another thing that I realized also, I had a problem with attention. So I don't want to lead your meeting. I don't want to be in a leadership role because people are going to be looking at me and they're going to be paying attention to me and me only. And in my past, attention has always resulted in like some type of negativity, whether it was a guy giving me a compliment and now I have to deal with his girlfriend and her friends, or even if it's just a girl that likes him. And the crazy part about it was like I always went through that in school where like people would say bad things about me that didn't really make sense. Like, I constantly dealt with people saying, "Oh, she thinks she's all that," and I'm like, I barely talk to y'all, so I don't know where you're getting this from. So it always resulted in some type of um, negative energy toward me, and I think I just internalized those things. And so on top of those things, like at school and outside of my home, I was dealing with stuff at home as well. Like, I had a sibling that hated me and made it very clear every day that I was hated. And so through therapy, we're going to talk a lot about therapy. I learned that I internalized those things as a kid, the unworthiness, the not wanting attention, the shrinking myself. It was all a result from that the trauma from being a kid and being treated that way. And that has been a very, very eye-opening thing. I'm being very vulnerable here. I did not remember those things until February of 21. I was going outside. I don't know what I was going to do. Going to smoke, take some trash out, something. I might have even been admiring the moon. And I went, and it was like I was drowning, and a flood of all these memories came back to me. And anyone who knows me knows that I always had, like, I'm not a crier. I always had like a problem expressing emotions and that type of thing. And I cried. I probably cried for 2 or 3 hours. And I called my husband at work and I'm like, please come home. And he's like, what is going on? Because I am, not the type just to be super, super emotional and like need to lean on someone like that. And another thing I've discovered that is absolutely fine. Like, experiencing emotions, that's part of our human experience. That's what makes us human. But I cried and cried and cried. So I went from going to therapy. I think I was going like once a month for 2 years. And then when I started to have those memories, I started going weekly. And I did something called EMDR therapy. It's like a eye movement thing. And it helps me tremendously. But honestly, I'm still struggling with those things. I still struggle with the memory because so much of my childhood is gone, and then some of the things that I remember, it does not sit well with me. So being an adult, but still feeling like a child inside, is a very, very interesting dynamic. But it has also made me give other people grace because I understand that, like, no matter what our body looks like on the outside or our age, we are all just like wounded children walking around in adult bodies trying to figure it out, doing the best that we can. And a lot of us, our best is not that good. And it's just because we don't know what to do, we don't know what's going on inside. So, like me, I knew that something was going on when I started therapy. I think I started therapy in September of 2019. And I actually started because I wanted to be like a better wife and I wanted to be a better mom. But it wasn't just about myself. But when it just became about me, I would say that's when I made the greatest. That's when I started to like really, really dip into my personal development. And I started to like change and understand my behaviors and things of that nature. So, therapy is awesome in that way. But just quick disclaimer, it may get worse before it gets better. You know what I mean? It's literally like dealing with trauma and repressed memories is literally like, an open wound that scabs over and then you bump it and open it again. And it's way more painful than it was in the beginning. And it's literally like that over and over again, even though it's getting better at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope that that helps someone. So, my journey has been quite the roller coaster, and I am still on it because I have no plans on giving up. It's very important for me to develop professionally and personally because your personal development affects everything. I have been trying to step into entrepreneurship for years, and I was always like self sabotaging and not doing the things that I needed to do or things of that nature. And I'm like, something else is preventing me from stepping into my greatness. Because whenever I think about my future and I see it, it's not bad things, it's good things. So it's like, why would you prevent yourself from experiencing the good things that you see? And it goes back to that whole lack of worthiness. And going back to the breath work piece, doing breath work, it really, really increased my awareness. Like with hearing the worthy, I was able to like connect with my higher self more and actually look at myself and pay attention to my actions because I wasn't on autopilot anymore. And that's when I was actually really able to make changes in my life for, the positive, because I was aware of them. Like I started to actually hear my thoughts and the things that I would say to myself, and I was not nice at all, right? Um, and it's really weird because a lot of people have that. Like I love podcasts and watching interviews on YouTube, and so many people that are famous, that we think are beautiful, we all go through the same thing. And I'm starting to think like your personal development is really, really like the key to life. Like your spiritual practices, like the breath work, like the praying, um, the meditating. And one thing that I started to really, really pay attention to that has been a game changer for me is my judgments. Like, why do I judge people for doing the things they do when we've all been raised different? We all grew up in different environments. We all learn different things going up. We all have different trauma back to that inner child. And so, like, I like judge a person for wearing like a bonnet in public. That's their damn head. They don't have nothing to do with me. I'm not the bonnet police, right? But that doesn't mean that that person is a bad person and they're not worthy of being treated a certain way. Or it was just a bunch of stuff, and I realized that a lot of those things are things that I heard other people talk about, and I go, okay, I don't want to be that way. I don't want them to talk about me this way, so I won't do those things. And I had so many things that I just would not let myself do. Um, like here recently, after 6 years, I started eating meat again, and I went through like a whole crisis about it. And part of it was actually because I felt like I had some moral high ground over people because I wasn't eating meat. And that's just not true at all. Because I actually, honestly, I've been feeling a little bit better because my diet was not the best when I was a vegetarian. And I think I just got to the point where my body was becoming depleted of certain things, and the meat made me feel better. But I'm like, do what's best for you. I always have that in the back of my head. Like, do what's best for you. You don't want to judge people, but you understand where your judgments come from. So if someone is judging you, then that's their problem, and it's not yours. So I've been working really hard at not judging other people, and it's been very helpful with me working in alternative education because we see all types of things and all types of behavior. But now, like, I'm learning more about trauma because of my own, and it's been really, really eye opening. Um, so back to the breathwork again. So I started my own breathwork company. It is called Just Breathe, a breathwork experience. If you want more information, you can go to www.justbreathwork.com and sign up for my email list because I am going to start offering sessions soon. And I encourage those that are dealing with stress, and that's all of us because we are dealing with the stress of the world changing. Like we're coming off a pandemic, something that has not happened in I don't know how many years. Um, I cannot wait to tell my grandchildren about what I did during the pandemic. It's going to be lit because I'm going to be making up half the stuff. But I thank you for listening to me today. I thank you for being here. I pray that something I said strikes a chord with you. And if you need help, you'll get help. Um, Even if you just start journaling, just start deep breathing, just like turn everything off and have a moment to yourself. And I want you every day to find something to be grateful for because gratitude is lit and it will literally change your life. Um, Let me see what else. I think that's all for now. But I thank y'all for listening to me at the Hood Hippy podcast. Please follow me on Instagram at Ashley Christine and at the Hood Hippy underscore official. And my breathwork page is just breathwork underscore official. Thank you for everything, y'all. I love y'all, and I will talk to y'all soon.